me, we're in beautiful San Andreas, which is north of Cartagena. It's a Colombian territory, a territory that not many people know about. So what I'm going to talk to you guys today about is if you're a person that's thinking about leaving your country, whether that be the USA, Spain, etc., any of these Western industrialized countries, basically I'm going to talk to you about the process, some of the negatives, some of the positives that I've faced on this journey. The problem with a lot of vloggers that are on YouTube or on social media, they tend to talk only about the positive things, the beaches, the women, the culture, etc., etc., and all the fun adventures that they get up to. But it's been a difficult transition as well. Some days it's a dream, sometimes it's not a dream. So I'm going to go over the positives and the negatives. Welcome to the place where we endeavor to welcome to the place where we endeavor to keep your spirits high. Where the sky is not the limit and the limit is not the sky. Let's go! Right, so a lot of expats that I've met in Medellin, Colombia. So quickly, let me go over my story. I used to live in London in the UK back in 2010, left my job, got out of the rat race, basically started an online business, etc., etc., etc. If you guys want to know the full story, watch some of my other videos. So in making that transition, I made the transition October of this year. When I say transition, I mean from moving from the UK to Colombia. Now, one of the main principal things that I hear a lot from expats, especially in Medellin, because that's where a lot of expats frequent, is the loneliness, how lonely these guys are. Now, some of the industries that these guys are involved in are, some of them teach, some of them are into property, some of them are digital nomads. And what I mean by digital nomad is they basically live online and travel around the world. So, in the fact that I would say 70% of them work online, okay? Now in working on an online business, some people work sometimes anything from 5 to 12 hours a day. So if you're on the upper scale, and I must admit some days I work 11, 12 hours a day, you're focused so much on your craft that you don't get a chance to meet people, etc., etc. So one of the things that I would advise in order for, if you're a person that's thinking of doing this, in order to prevent that, is to get onto online forums before you come out, go onto Facebook, join various different expat groups in the area in which you want to go to. Now you've got to understand, this is going to sound obvious, but going to a country and living there is completely different to vacationing there. So from about 2009 up until the present time, I've traveled all over the world, from Asia to North America to South America and parts of Europe. Now, what's been great is having that freedom to do that. But when I spent longer periods of time in those specific countries, it's felt like a drag because I haven't made friends, I haven't associated with people, etc., etc. So, first piece of advice would be go online, get to grips with people, get to know people, go into forums, etc., etc., etc. Okay, second point I'd like to go over. One thing that I suffered from a lot was anxiety. I was always anxious before leaving, and I think that was a lack of planning. Put into place a solid budget, okay, and try as best as possible to stick to that budget. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Since I've come here, I've been here for almost 3 months now, and I've gone over that budget because I've basically been living out of a suitcase, and that has been down to poor planning. 3 months in, I've only just found a place to live, a place to stay, etc., or found the city where I want to stay. Now, the problem with this particular part of the world is every city that you go to in Colombia is like a new country. There are new accents, the people are different, the customs are different, different types of weather. So, for example, in Bogota, a few weeks ago, it was snowing. Meanwhile, on the Caribbean coast of Cartagena and here, the island of San Andreas, it's blazing hot, as you can see. I mean, crystal clear blue water. So plan as much as you possibly can, get your budget together, try and find somewhere. You can find somewhere on Airbnb long term. However, the prices tend to be higher. So what I would advise you to do is come here, mix with the natives, network as much as you possibly can in order to get the best rates. And that goes for all parts of the world. Try and get to know the natives so the natives can negotiate with you, okay? So that's number 2. Okay, one other thing that I would say is try and get to grips with the culture as much as possible. What I notice is a lot of the expats that I've met, especially in Medellin, they keep themselves enclosed or encapsulated in a comfort zone. Medellin is a very, very easy place to make the transition from the Western world to a developing country like this. Even though a place like Medellin is very much developed and you feel like you're in the Western world anyway, especially if you're in a strata 4 to 6. The stratos basically go from 0 to 6. So 0 being the poorest and 6 being the richest. So that being the case, what I try to do is engross or ingratiate, I wouldn't even say ingratiate, submerge myself in the culture. I speak Spanish already, around about 70%, but I'm trying to improve upon that. The only way to improve upon that is to hang around with Colombians. So don't be afraid to branch out and get to know people. However, be wary, because of the fact that you're coming here with dollars, euros, or English pounds, there are some people who will try to use you. So you know, be wary of that. Not everybody is like that, but there are people that will try and take advantage of you. For example, I've taken cabs before, and I always check my change. I got to know the currency before I got here, and some people tried to shortchange you. Just a minute ago, when I tried to buy this drink, the guy tried to shortchange me, no word of a lie, but this is what it is. Right, so moving on to the positives. I mean, wow, where can I start? It's been blissful, very relaxing, sunshine all year round. I mean, look at this place, palm trees, etc., etc. The people are beautiful, and I mentioned this before, every city you go to, especially here in this territory, is a different country. So Medellin, very sophisticated, malls, infrastructure, probably on a higher level than some I've seen in the Western world. Whereas when you come here, very Caribbean experience. People speak with a Caribbean accent. They speak Creole, they speak Spanish. Whereas you go to Bogota, very business oriented, etc., etc. So it depends on what you want and what you're seeking. If you're seeking a Caribbean lifestyle, San Andreas, Cartagena for you. If you're seeking something more business oriented, Bogota, Medellin. So that's it. There'll be a part 2 and a part 3 to this. Take care. And let me show you around. Let's cut to the shots.
If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe, and also leave a comment. Even if you're not watching it on YouTube, go over to YouTube, like and subscribe and leave a comment. You can also find me on social media. Yep, that's me, Ben Kofi. Just send me a request.